And when you finally get to that point, when you master yourself and you finally get yourself in that position where you know exactly why you're doing something, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and defeat ain't even part of the equation. Like, you know that you're going to be successful. Once you finally reach that peak performance level, you're dialed in. There's nothing taking you out of that. No one can convince you that you aren't exactly where you're supposed to be at.
When it comes to legalized bank robbing, I'm the best.
I'm going long in this breaker here. I'll take that. Going long in the order block. Make sure to take a partial here. It's almost like it's random. Stop above the balanced price range. That's a breakaway gap. This fair value gap should stay open. It's a breakaway gap. This is a breakaway gap, but this fair value gap here will take us higher. And thank you very much. Just like clockwork.
All right. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Good morning. Happy Monday. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Man, last trading week of the year for me personally. This is the last tape reading stream of the year, possibly the last one publicly on YouTube. We shall see. But man, what a year. What a year. Last time that we will have that intro. Oh man. Good morning, Jerome, Hines, Exectile, Muhammad, Steven, Butch, Deborah, Elton, GC, Trading Gains, Roberto, you got Paulo, you got your full government name in there. Paulo Roberto Fernandez Gomez. You got your whole, you got the whole shebang going over there. Good morning. Unicorn Queen, good morning. What's going on, Alex? I see y'all. So, tape reading. We got Christmas this week, Christmas Eve this week. And looking at the economic calendar, we really only have one news driver for the week, and that's on Thursday. Unemployment claims at 8:30. But we do have medium impact today at 8:30, which has just passed. And we also have medium impact today at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, medium impact news at 10 a.m. Thursday, high impact at 8:30. Medium impact at 11 a.m. And then Friday is an empty, no news Friday. So, it's going to be a good week. We're going to sit tight till about 8:40, 8:42 or so, let everybody join in, and then we will get this thing on the road. Oh, man. Looks like NASDAQ may want to reach for that current new week opening gap. Hasn't been traded to yet. Let's go. And let's check the dollar real quick. Dollar index is looking strong, looking bullish. Still has some levels here. Dow actually had a pretty large new week opening gap, if I'm not mistaken. Right there. That's pretty large. What is that? About 500 points or so. So there's Dow, new week opening gap. So I'm going to take that off for a second. So dollar index is looking bullish. If it can stay that way, preferably I like seeing lower prices in the indices, obviously, and NASDAQ has that new week opening gap that hasn't been traded to. So that's something that I'm being mindful of. And 1 second, getting my monitor and my chart layout set up here. Dow looks bearish, S&P looks bearish. So far everything is symmetrical. We have a bullish dollar, and we have I should not have the micros on here. So bullish dollar, and we have a weak NASDAQ, and we have a weak S&P, and obviously Dow as well. So I like how things are looking. S&P has already filled in its new week opening gap. The Dow well beneath it, and the NASDAQ has not traded to it yet, but it looks likely. So we're gonna go real quick. We'll go ahead and get started here. Just a couple of key levels. We also have a new week opening gap here for NQ. Gonna have that on my chart. And an old weekly high within the previous 3 weeks. I'm looking at, or sorry, low. I'm looking at this low as well. Right. Let's go to a daily chart. Just traded into this fair value gap so far as of right now, leaving the upper half open, working in the lower half. And we have a new day opening gap. Really don't care much on the daily chart other than us trading into the fair value gap. Want to see if we could rotate lower. 15-minute chart. You can see I already have my midnight opening price, which should be up here. 8:30 open. 5-minute. And last but certainly not least, just taking out sell side, and then we have our new week opening gap. Once we trade here, or should we trade here, I'll be observing how we do so. Do we want to get beneath it and reach for the new week opening gap down here? Do we want to use it as support to take us higher? Those are things that I'll be watching. So it's gonna be a long stream. Planning on staying on till about 11:30. I'm gonna try to stick this one out all the way past the London close macro. So we're gonna be here for about 3 hours. This is my last public tape reading stream of 2024. It may be the last public tape reading stream on the channel going forward. I haven't decided yet, but we're gonna be here for a while. All right, there's the new week opening gap. So I'm watching to see how easily do we get beneath it. If NASDAQ is still showing that it's heavy, then I'll be expecting this new week opening gap to be used as support and to possibly reach for this one here. Now, as we approach that 850 to 910 macro, okay, every time I come on here, the 850 to 910 macro is a beautiful macro that generally gives a nice little scalp pre-market. So midpoint between this new week opening gap and this new week opening gap, midpoint of that is the event horizon. And normally you'll find a setup near midpoint between these two areas of fair value. So if you take, let's get real precise. The low of this new week opening gap is 52.50. Let's see if I can finesse this. There we go. And the high of this new week opening gap is 510 even. Right there. So event horizon is midpoint. If we trade down into that, you'll expect some sort of setup, PD array, fair value gap, volume imbalance, something of that sort. Use that as a setup and take it down to this new week opening gap down here. And again, I'm also keeping an eye on S&P. cleared out its sell side. Dow getting a little bit of a retracement. And I'm also watching dollar as well. I want to see dollar make an attempt to run out the buy side, possibly trade into this premium fair value gap up here. If you notice, dollar has a small little portion of that fair value gap that has not been traded to. If we extend that to the right, so we have buy side all throughout here that we ran out, and really our first remaining inefficiency that hasn't been repriced in is the remaining portion of this fair value gap here. So much, and see if dollar wants to reach up into that. Right, you can see us working the upper half of the new week opening gap, or working using it as support. Well, stop reading live. I might be trading Mondays next year. I haven't decided. If I'm trading Mondays next year, then obviously there's not going to be any more live streams, public live streams on YouTube. I haven't decided, but I'm kind of leaning towards trading Monday through Friday in the Discord. Small little fair value gap. Okay, on the 1 minute chart, you have a fair value gap here. 2 minute, small little inefficiency, leaving this fair value gap open. That's still showing signs of bearishness. Now, admittedly, this isn't a lot of range between new week opening gaps, so it could very easily just couple candles run down there and you won't get a setup near midpoint. But a lot of times, if you see perhaps something like this between your new week opening gaps, and midpoint will be about right here, you'll find a nice setup. And again, we're approaching that 850 macro, but there's not a lot of range between these two, so it could very easily just snap down there. Discord and all that. Discord information, features, and everything's included. It's pinned in the top of the chat room and in the top of this description, the description of this live stream, if you want more information on that. Can you see NQ running buy stops? I have to see what we do at the open and what we do during the first 30 minutes after the opening bell. But for now, I'm watching to see if NASDAQ wants to stay heavy and reach for this new week opening gap using the 850 to 910 macro to get there. NASDAQ also has sell side underneath this low. So should we trade down, we're taking out sell side, also trading to the new week opening gap, and we'll be really cheap on the day. Obviously, our opening prices are above us, trading away from that, clearing out the sell side, trading into areas like the new week opening gap. That's really, really discounted. So I'll be curious to see if we can work higher after the opening bell. Let's see. Not next year. I might stop the live tape reading streams. Everything else on the channel staying the same as far as the content goes. I'll probably do a couple more educational videos, like teaching videos a week or a month. As far as the tape reading streams, because I want to provide more value for the Discord members, and after doing a lot of back testing and really just going throughout this whole year, Mondays, based on the economic calendar, Mondays can move nicely. So I might just live trade Monday through Friday for the community, the private community. And then YouTube would just get like the aftermath. How do you want to get new numbers then? People find me, man. I have Instagram. I'll be joining TikTok next year. The YouTube algorithm pushes my channel out there. I'm not worried about it. So we're trading up. We do have a 5-minute inefficiency here. I'm watching to see if we leave that open, or at least the upper half. If we work and dig into this fair value gap aggressively, then that showed me that NASDAQ isn't as weak. But if we can stay in the lower half of this fair value gap or not even trade to it all, that's preferred. And then I'm not really looking for anything going higher until I see a clear displacement, market structure shift to the upside. Right now, I'm just seeing this move higher as a simple retracement after a pretty one-sided sell-off. Gonna join your mentorship. I think I closed it. I can't remember, because the mentorship, there were like 6 groups. The first 2 are already full, but I think I already closed. Like the later half, like the 3rd, 4th, 5th group that starts in like April and June and like October and all that, I took those groups off the website because I don't want to like overwork myself. Max, what are you talking about? So we're in that macro. That 20-minute window generally gives, again, a nice setup. 850. 910, that's your pre-market macro. Typically gives a nice little scalp before the opening bell. Fair value gap. On a 3-minute chart. The 1-minute chart's a little spotty, doesn't really have a clear inefficiency, but the 3-minute has it, so. How do I do this? So, working at the wicks, trading up, but the bodies so far, respecting constant encroachment of that 3-minute inefficiency. And then again, we're in that macro when you can expect movement, you can expect some sort of price run. And again, I'm looking to see if we want to reach for the sell side, the event horizon, and then possibly that new week opening gap, the high of it. We'll go ahead and actually do this. And label it 3-minute. You can even see the bodies on the 1 minute chart respecting that fair value gap on the 3 minute, and then you have a bearish order block. Geek A, what's up, man? I appreciate it. 2025 is going to be a great year. It's going to be an amazing year. Absolutely. But appreciate it. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. Appreciate you tuning in, bro. $8.45 to $9.15 macro. I'm not sure that's a macro. I've never heard about that one. I don't think that's a macro. At least I never heard ICT talk about it. I am trading this week. This is my last trading week, and I'm taking the next week off, so I'll probably still be trading next week, just off camera. So let me see. Yeah, this is my last trading week. My last trading day is this Friday, the 27th, and then next week, the 30th, all the way to January 3rd, I won't be trading, or I won't be live trading at least. I'll probably be getting small little scalps here and there just for me personally, but I'm gonna use that week to enjoy time away from the camera and the streams and all that, and probably just do personal investing. And then I'm back live trading. December 6th is a Monday. Again, I don't know if I'll do a free tape reading stream still in 2025. But I'll see. But my first live trading day will either be December 6th or December 7th. Yeah, I think people making their own macros. That's not a macro, bro. Just because Zeusy explained it, if ICT hasn't taught it, I wouldn't buy into that much. Here, I got something for you. The 920 to 935, that's a new macro right there. You want to make sure you put that on your chart. I just created that right now, but after some back testing, I realized that that's actually what the algorithm is focusing on. So 920 to 935, that's your macro, 95% win rate. You're welcome. So NASDAQ kind of going into a small little consolidation. We still have 10 minutes or 12 minutes or so left in the macro. I still want to see us get beneath this short-term low, and then again reach for the sell side in that event horizon, which is midpoint between the two new week opening gaps. And then I want to see us use this new week opening gap as resistance, meaning I want us to show weakness, getting beneath it. Next candle opens, trades up, uses it as resistance, and then takes you lower. That's what I prefer to see. So I like to see a candle closure beneath the new week opening gap, and then we stay in the lower half of it. That's best case scenario for me. W strat, 90% win rate, guaranteed. Just stalling around at the bit. Let's take a quick glance around, see what everything else is doing. S&P consolidating. The Dow going into a nasty consolidation as well. We have about 30 minutes to the opening bell. Even dollar on a 1 minute chart is consolidating. And Let's take a look at gold. We haven't looked at gold today. Daily fair value gap. 15-minute chart for gold is nasty as well. Everything's pretty much consolidating as of right now. But I still favor that sell side. Watching to see so far, NASDAQ is only willing to work in the upper half. Not even interested in trading in the lower half, but again, I want to see if we can get beneath that and use it as resistance. I'm not seeing anything in the chart as of right now that says we're going higher. Again, I'll require a clear market structure shift with a fair value gap, something of that sort. But until I see something like that, then I'm still keeping my bearish bias, looking for sell side. Do I trade Asia ATM model on Mondays? Yeah. Asia's good all week round. I probably won't be trading it much simply because of personal things like my schedule and all that. Next year I'll probably rarely trade Asia. But it's good for people who like work a 9 to 5 and you can't trade the morning session or the PM session. You can come home and try to find something during Asia. But I'm gonna try to finish most of my trading by 11 a.m. What's up, Chelsea? So we're back inside of that fair value gap on a 3-minute chart. And then just above us, if we zoom out, okay, let's do this. We have obviously a large 15-minute SIBI. We have a 5-minute SIBI, so we have a couple of premium arrays above us. What's up, Emma? Yeah, I'm chilling. Chilling like a villain. Ready for Christmas with the family. Ready to turn off the charts and enjoy time with loved ones. Me and my lady taking a trip to San Antonio this weekend. Leaving Friday after the stream. Got a nice hotel out there on the Riverwalk for about 3 nights. So excited for that. All right, so we're inside of this 5-minute fair value gap. If we dig into it past consequent encroachment, then to me that's showing signs of strength. If we work in the lower half and we kind of just stall around, then that's telling me NASDAQ is possibly still weak. But right now I'm watching consequent encroachment, and I'll count that as pretty much a market structure shift on the 5-minute chart if we can dig into this inefficiency. And then there's your short-term high taken out there. inside of that 15-minute fair value gap. I want to look at S&P, Dow, dollar. I want to sit tight because this could very much easily just be a run on buy stops. These highs were a little too smooth, and we quickly ran that out, trading to consequent encroachment of this wick. So I'm still demanding a little bit more from NASDAQ as far as proving to me that it wants to go higher. If we don't show speed and we start breaking lower, then that was just a run on the relative equal highs here, knocking out traders with their protective buy stops above the highs. And then again, we traded into that 5-minute inefficiency. I'm watching midpoint include the volume imbalance when drawing your fair value gap. So taking that level and that level there. And then midpoint is here. So far on a 5-minute chart, we have not dug into the upper half of the fair value gap. We're staying in the lower half. To me, that's still bearish until NASDAQ reaches up above that and shows an unwillingness to stay in the lower half of the fair value gap. Then I'll be convinced that we're going higher. But as long as we're staying beneath consequent encroachment, I think we're still good to go lower, take out the sell side here, reach for the event horizon, and then possibly the sell side. So I'm going to keep this on the chart, and we're going to transpose that down to the 1 minute just so we know where we're at. Using that 3-minute fair value gap, tagging it there. But again, I'm not convinced we're going higher until we get above this price level, because these buy stops were too smooth. A lot of people ask me, like, do you have any confirmations for getting in a trade? What's your confirmation? I don't have like a signature, like if I don't see this, I'm not getting in a trade. But stuff like this is my confirmation. It's based on price levels, it's based on the price action that we're seeing. So my confirmation for me personally to get long, I need to see us get above constant encroachment of that 5-minute fair value gap. Because for me and my style of trading, that would be NASDAQ proving that is bullish and is picking up strength. But if we just stay in the lower half of it, well, if I'm bearish, I would want to see that. So my confirmation, if you want to put it that way, is I want to see us violate midpoint if we're going higher. If we don't do that, then I'm favoring lower prices. So that's the criteria that has to be met for me. Do you think it's a good idea to paper trade? It's up to you. Scott, weren't you trolling earlier a couple weeks ago on the stream? We've already talked about ICT supposedly failing the Robbins Cup on purpose. We've been past that. So there's consequent encroachment, and I'm watching to see how easily does NASDAQ get above it, or do we use it as resistance? Does NASDAQ have a hard time trading above that level? I'm going to change it because I actually want to 603.25. And let's do this. And we're going to label that five-minute SIBI consequent encroachment. so far, tapping it beautifully there. But I'm using that specific price level for all the insight. That one line is all the insight I need, whether we're likely to go higher or do we want to reach lower for the sell side here and that sell side here on your 15-minute chart. It's okay. Scott's one of the people, he forgot to eat his Lucky Charms this morning. He likes to join live streams Monday, and he likes to come in the comment section and talk a little mess. It's always the ones who skip breakfast. We talked about this in the Discord last night. It's always the ones who skip breakfast. They tend to be a little bit more cranky in the mornings. An easy fix for that is just grab you a bowl of Lucky Charms. Fruit Loops, is that, you know, if that's more your style. I've never been a fan of Fruity Pebbles, but Scott, that might be more of your flow if you're down for that. But you never want to join somebody's live stream on an empty stomach. You're not you when you're hungry. So, Scott, you want to make sure you put some food in your stomach, my guy. It's starting to show. Don't be Scott. Don't be like Scott. It's too early in the morning for all that. You spam in the chat, Scott. Come on. Like, ain't nobody got time for all that. You might need a Snickers. It's too early in the morning for a Snickers bar, but cereal might not help you at this point. And Snickers might got to pull out the big guns for you, Scott. Oh, man. So NASDAQ's just going into a minor consolidation. We're still staying in the lower half of that 5-minute fair value gap. And again, we've also traded into that 15-minute fair value gap as well. I'm looking at these lows here. They're relatively equal. We still have about 15 minutes till the opening bell. And I say this every stream. Once we get to 9:30, I'm falling back into more of a neutral bias because manipulation can happen at the open. So after 15 minutes, if we haven't reached sell side or if we haven't clearly gone above consequent encroachment of that 5-minute fair value gap, we're going to clear all this off our charts, and then we're just going to watch the opening range the first 30 minutes and see what it does. But if NASDAQ just stalls before the open, then it is what it is. Oh man, Scott, why are you so sour? It's Christmas week. Like, you're not in the holiday spirit, Scott. It's too. You can't be sour this time of year. Like, play some Mariah Carey or something. Like, you gotta get that out of your spirit, man. Come on now. It's Christmas week. It's been a great year. You gotta get in the holiday spirit, man. We don't have time for all that. But I can't remember if I pointed out these lows, but these are relatively equal. They're a little too smooth, in my opinion. So that's something I'm watching as minor sell side. But we're running out of time before the opening bell, so I'm kind of taking this with a grain of salt. NASDAQ really has to speed up if it wants the sell side before the open. So Scott the keyboard warrior. It's too early for that. Be happy, Scott. Be happy. Turn that frown upside down. So we're back at this 3-minute inefficiency. Still looking for sell side. NASDAQ, as of right now, did not show a willingness to work. Let me take this off real quick. That fair value gap, a lot of people like seeing the visual. Okay, so far, NASDAQ has not been willing to trade in the upper half. It hit consequent encroachment beautifully. The high of this candle comes in at 603.25. Consequent encroachment, 603.25. Hits it to the tick, but Scott says there isn't an algorithm. So far, everything in price is telling me that we're bearish unless we get above that with ease. Oh, this is my last one. This is my last one. I promise, Tim. This may be the last public stream on the channel. This is my last one. Best believe this is my last trading week, and I'm going to spend time with my nieces. I might see them today. I think my mom has them right now. I'm going to go see the girls. And I got to give them a little Christmas gift, some dolls or something. Take this off now. Now, if we were to take out this low, we're running out of time. We have about 15 minutes to the open, but if we were to take out this low, I'll treat this down close candle as a bearish breaker because you have your high, low, higher high. So should we clear out the low, I would like to see the breaker in the new week opening gap down here offer resistance. But if 930 gets here before we do that, then clearing off the charts and then dropping back to a neutral bias and letting the opening range do its thing. Okay, Scott, you're starting to spam the chat. It's time to get you out of here. I'm gonna be so nice and get you up out the chat room. That way you can go get you some Fruit Loops, some Lucky Charms, whatever the case may be. And make sure to drink the milk after. Let's go ahead and get you out of there. All right. Like, we're in the Christmas spirit. We don't have time for people like that. We don't have time. He could join the stream on his burner account if he wants to. Yeah, he missed breakfast, dinner, lunch. Come on. If you're that cranky this early in the morning, something's not right. Wish him the best though. Looking for minor sell side here, the relative equal lows. NASDAQ hasn't really given us much of anything since about 840. Once we've taken out the sell side and traded to the new week opening gap, it's pretty much just been lethargic. But as of right now, I still favor lower prices until, again, the criteria is met for me, which is that 5-minute fair value gap. So still favoring the sell side and the sell side here. Fair value gap, bearish order block. Volume imbalance included, consequent encroachment. This is a little sloppy. And I'm gonna take this 3-minute fair value gap off. All of this is kind of muddy. And I'll just go, whoops. I'll just go ahead and keep this one on. Trading demo 6 months is a good idea before going live. It's always recommended to paper trade before jumping into a live account, but it's up to you to determine how long you need a trade demo. Some people may only need 3 months of demo, some people may need 6, some people may need a whole year. It just depends on the results you're seeing and your emotions. If you can't control your emotions in a demo account, then you definitely should not be touching a live account. And I was thinking about this. I'll be having shower thoughts. I see a lot of people, like, they want to be a full-time trader, which is awesome. That's a great goal to have. But you don't take the prop firm serious. And I see people, like, they'll say, oh, I got a combine. It's in 5% drawdown.
I'm just gonna just full leverage this trade, and if I lose it, then I lose it. I'll just get another combine. Or they'll say, I have a funded account, just lost my funded account, whatever. Like, you have to understand, if you can't take a prop firm or a combine or a funded account serious, how do you expect to trade full time? Because if you're in 5% drawdown on your live account, you have to make that back. Like, there is no reset. There's no, oh, whoops, I blew my funded account. I'll just pay for another reset. If you blow your live account, where's your income coming from? Well, you should still have a nice chunk of savings and preferably another income stream coming in. But just generally speaking, like, that's such a bad habit. So I don't know. I was just thinking about that earlier. Like, not a lot of people are taking trading serious. You're just blowing accounts here and there, and you're just like, it is what it is. I'll just pay for another one. But if your goal is to be full time, that's a bad habit to have, because you want to be full time with your own capital, your own not prop firm money. And live funds, you can't just press a reset button. Like, if you get emotional and reckless and you blow all of that, you're cooked, because that rent is going to be due on the 1st, and hopefully you have another income stream or a nice chunk of savings, because it's not going to be pretty. Do you open trades? No, I only trade live. I don't have I always forget to put this thing up, but I only trade live in the Discord community. There, whoops. Eight minutes to the open, and then I think medium impact at 10 o'clock. I really don't care for medium impact news drivers. They do bring a little bit of volatility, but this week is pretty much all medium impact news except for Thursday. But 10 o'clock, we have a little something. Consumer confidence, home sales. Do we need to switch over to Discord? I'm not trading today. I don't trade Mondays. I might in 2025, but like, seeing me, like, pretty much the trades you see on my channel, seeing me press the button and walk the trade through and whatnot, that's only in the Discord. I only press buttons and execute and take live trades on my account. Live account, I don't trade paper on stream. But the live account executions and all that, that's only for the Discord community. What kind of username? ICT student, Tremaine friend. What in the world? I ain't never seen. I'm honored. That's funny. That's crazy. ICT student and Tremaine's friend. I'm flattered. Oh, no, I don't trade funded accounts. I trade my own money. Broker's trade station, before somebody asks. That's Scott. That's Scott. I knew Scott. I knew he was a cool dude. He hopped on the burner account and made a new username. All right, so while NASDAQ does its thing real quick, S&P slowly working higher, not really energetic. Dow, a little bit more meaningful. Dollar index getting heavy. Failed to reach that small little remaining portion of the fair value gap. So if dollar rotates lower, which it looks like it's doing, and S&P and Dow start showing strength right now, Dow is leading the way going higher, then we could likely reach for the midnight open and the 8:30 open. And we don't have our, we don't have our opening range gap yet, but we closed, we're going to have a small gap. We closed at 64.50, and we're trading at okay, it's gonna be around 40 handles or so, unless NASDAQ really starts moving. Macros occur every hour. They occur every hour. Midnight open is the midnight opening price. I always like chuckle when people ask, when is the midnight open? It's in the name. It's the midnight opening price. New York time is always New York local time. I do have a private mentorship next year, but I closed it off because I want to see how the first couple of groups go. I don't want to overwork myself, so the first 2 groups are already full. The next private mentorship group wasn't open until like March or April, but I took you can't sign up for those, I think I took those down because I don't want anybody signing up, because if I'm too exhausted after the first 2 groups, I want to take a little break. All right, so this is what I like to see for higher prices. This is my quote-unquote confirmation, for those who like to call it that. Okay, wasn't interested in anything going long until we get above midpoint of that fair value gap, and that's a nice market structure shift on the 5-minute chart for NASDAQ. Now that we're digging into the upper half, this, in my eyes, is telling me that NASDAQ is possibly picking up strength. And again, all this could change at the opening bell. 9:30 could see a Judas swing going lower and then continue higher, which is why I kind of clear everything off, because the opening range can do a Judas swing. But for now, this is what I wanted to see. Here we tapped it, retraced lower, now we're above it, and let's drag this up, let's drag this here. For those who follow me on Twitter and you've seen my model, the way I like to trade, okay, we went over this in the Discord as far as tier 2. If we're ever beneath the midnight opening price and the 8:30 open, we are really, really discounted. We're really cheap on the day. Okay, 70% of the time, you're going to see us return back to the midnight open. But if we're beneath the 8:30 open as well, then that's just all the better. We're really cheap. But we only have about a minute to the open, so let's start clearing this off. NASDAQ traded down, unwilling to reach the event horizon or the sell side. We got about a minute to the open. Oh my gosh. All right, we got spams in the chat. I might have to get a mod next year. We can't be doing this. All right. Let's see. These highs are really clean. All right, so I cleared off all my charts. I'm even gonna take off this 5-minute SIBI. Opening bell is underway. As of right now, the narrative, NASDAQ clearing out the sell side, trading the consequent encroachment of the new week opening gap. Did not show willingness to take out the sell side here. Market structure shift, getting what I like to see, which is working in the upper half of this fair value gap. For bullishness, I wanted lower prices until we get above consequent encroachment. We do that here. This right here is showing me strength. And factor in your opening prices, 8:30 to midnight. We're really cheap on the day. Relative equal highs, and then obviously you have all the buy side here. And you have relative equal highs here. So my model, okay, when I'm trading in streams and whatnot, if we're ever beneath the midnight opening price, I'm only looking for longs. Okay, I shared that on Twitter. What am I doing here? Buy side, higher time frame. And then we just covered that in the webinar for those full access. Tier 1, Tier 2, relative equal highs here. I'm watching this fair value gap, this CB, see if we could use that as support. Right there. These highs a little too smooth, but I'm watching to see if NASDAQ can get above the midnight open. And all I'm seeing this here is we just left more relative equal highs. What is Combine and Top Step? You probably really knew. Combine is just, it's just a combine. What is your end goal in trading? My end goal, if you're talking profit wise, it's 2 to 3% a week. I like the buy side here, but I'm really looking at the midnight open and then the clean highs above that. Again, clearing pretty much clearing everything off my chart. For me, my style of trading, my model, I never engage in the first 30 minutes. I like to let the opening range do what it do. I want to see what buy side do we run out, what liquidity is still on the table. What is the 15-minute chart looking like? So, all right, so see you. Buy side tagged, or I don't think it did. Not yet. Fair value gap. Wanted to see that be used as support. That's nice. We open, trade down, we wick down beneath the old weekly low, but the body snapped right back up at this fair value gap. That wanted to be used as an inversion level. And then there's your buy side. If you have access to a seconds chart, I don't really care for seconds chart, but this right here is a bread and butter scalp. 1 minute inversion fair value gap. You can find an inefficiency or a fair value gap or something of that sort on like a 15-second chart. Use that as an entry, and then you have your 1 minute inversion fair value gap behind you. Entry in here, and then you take it up to the buy side. That's a nice small little scalp, but I don't care for seconds charts like that. So down close candle. I'm still favoring the midnight open as of right now, but we did clear out relative equal highs. Let's put this down here. Why was today bullish? We're still really early in the day. It's only 4 minutes after the open. chart again. Oh my God. Daily Cibi. So we tag the buy side here. In my opinion, this is too shallow. I want to see more meaningful run above that. So any movement lower is not something I like to see right now. I really want to see us knock out the buy stops. Whenever we do something like this, in my eyes, all we did was just form relative equal highs. Like if someone was short and they're placing their stop above this highs, like I'm seeing this as we still have people who are safe, meaning anybody short, whatever, and they have stop losses like this and they're targeting whatever, that shallow run above the buy side isn't meaningful enough because I'm seeing that people are still protective with their buy stops above this high. We need to really run that out. So I'm just seeing this as relative equal highs. It's not convincing enough. And then I'm favoring the midnight opening price as a draw anyway. So a lot of people will say, why did you draw your relative equal highs? Because I like to do this a lot. And I'll drag it over. So even though this high is higher than this one, it's too shallow. Even that little poke above there, I like to see a little more. So I always do like this. And I'm still seeing this as relatively equal because if you're on like your 5-minute chart and we were to break lower and you see these highs, in my opinion, they're still just a little too clean. But that 8:30 opening price is a short-term premium, and we've worked inside of that. What's your Christmas like? Christmas Eve, me, my mom, my sister, my 3 girls, my 3 nieces, we're going to like this Christmas, it's like a Christmas light show in the stadium. I'm not going to say where it's at because I don't want to, whatever. But we're going to do that on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day, I think my mom's cooking. We're going to have some family come over. And that's really just it. Spend some time with the lady, give her her gifts, and then get ready to leave for San Antonio on Friday. No, I don't have kids. No, sir. No. I want kids. I definitely want kids, but not right now. I gotta get this money up first. And I want to travel. I don't want to have kids yet. I want to travel. I want to get my passport, go see the country, go see different states. I'm not ready to go through all that just yet. Yeah, no, I can't. But in my opinion, like honestly, like my nieces, I don't see them that much, maybe like once every couple of weeks, but they're in the vlog. They're in the last vlog I posted. I think it's pinned on my YouTube channel. But really, I treat those like my kids. Like those are my girls. I love them to death. But like it's like a win-win for me because like they're like my daughters, but I don't have to change diapers or nothing. So it's like as the uncle, you get all the benefits of not having to do all that stuff. Like, I'll, like, hug them, pick them up and everything, but as soon as they start farting or doing some funny business, I just give them to my sister, and it's her responsibility. It's all love, though. It's a nice little perk to have. Yeah, the Funko for sure. For sure. So still working this fair value gap. A little sloppy in here. I'm sure on the 15-second chart, a lot of people getting chopped up, but this is part of the reason why I don't trade the opening range. Okay, a lot of times it can move nice where 9:30 to 10 o'clock, it just gives a real nice price run, and you could be done for the day before 10 o'clock even gets here. But me, I just like to stay sideline, let it do whatever it wants to do, let it clear out whatever liquidity it wants to clear out, let it do all this here, and after 10 o'clock, then I like to go in and look for something, and then you have that 9:50 to 10:10 macro behind you as well. But the first 30 minutes, I let everybody have it, try to pick the direction. I don't want to get caught in a Judas swing or whatnot, and I'll just come in once the smoke clears and find something. Weekly bias, I'm bullish on NASDAQ. I'm bullish. I don't want to go to a weekly. Oh, screw it. But take that with a grain of salt because the year is closing. So I'm not even going to be looking at the charts for a whole week pretty much after this week, possibly. Don't know if I'll still be trading, but we traded into areas of fair value, new week opening gap, order block, fair value gap on the weekly chart. I can see us making another higher high, but I'm taking that with a grain of salt. Still looking for buy side again. This stab above this high is a little too shallow for my liking. Any movement lower is just, you're letting traders off the hook here. But regardless, still have 18 minutes left in the opening range. And our opening range gap, it's a nice size. It's pretty decent. From 60, let's call it 65 to about 620. About 50 handles. It's not bad. Muddy. How did you start your online career? It's been a crazy year, to be honest. Everything happened so fast. But it's really just, like I was trading. I was studying the 2023 ICT mentorship in January, around September, October-ish. I was starting to see consistent profitability, and I was like, you know what? I think I just want to open a YouTube channel and just kind of like post my trades and kind of just keep a document, an online log of my trades. I don't really care how many views I get. Like, I just kind of want to open up a YouTube channel. And then, like, they weren't getting any views. Like, my trades, when I used to trade, like, optimal trade entry, whatnot, they used to get, like, 40 views, 30 views. A good video on my page would maybe do 100. But I really didn't care, because I was just like, I like posting, I like editing, I like adding the little music in the background. And then I just kept doing the same thing, kept posting, kept trading. And then I was like, you know what, let me open a Discord, a free Discord or whatnot. Let me open an Instagram page. And I just had a little Discord chat. I'll share my analysis. I wasn't live trading yet or live streaming. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to add a feature in the Discord where I'm just going to start live streaming my trades. I did that for a while, and then we got too big for Discord. So I moved to YouTube and Instagram. Everything's just growing. So it's just been a gradual thing. But speaking of online career, I'm about to turn the comments off on my Twitter. I didn't want to join Twitter in the first place. It's so toxic. People are so like sour and like salty on Twitter for what reason I do not know. But if there's anybody who follows my Twitter and you're a frequent commenter, I'm finna turn the comments off. I just like sharing my analysis and my charts and little studies and things like that on Twitter, but the comments are, people are salty, so I'm finna just turn that off, but I'll still be posting. Full access, but not mentorship is a whole nother ballgame. The mentorship is Zoom calls. The private mentorship is one-on-one. It's like, what are you struggling with? What do you need help with? Okay, you're struggling with this. Here, I want you to go into your charts this week and find examples of this. Have examples, annotate your charts, bring it back to me. We're going to hop on a Zoom call, and we're going to check it. All right, you're struggling with this in your trading. Here's what I want you to do. Okay, next week, here's our focus for you. So the private mentorship is more of a one-on-one. It's a specific 8-week program. We're going over specific things regarding trading for each one of those 8 weeks. And it's pretty much just an 8-week boot camp. It's going to be intense. We're hitting the ground running. And yeah, in the Discord, it's just live streams, webinars, homework assignments, things of that sort. But the mentorship, it's like me and you. What do we got to do to get you on the right track? It's that kind of thing. All right, so NASDAQ getting aggressive lower. Fair value gap inversion, hitting it there. Or SIBI reclaim fair value gap, another fair value gap here. Oh yeah, I'll be trolling on. Don't get it twisted. I love the hate comments. I'll be clapping back. Pause. But the troll comments be funny. I just be responding. Like I'll just be chilling or whatever, getting back from the gym, and I'll just be responding. It's hilarious. I said pause, chill. Oh man. Yeah, the comments be crazy. But the ones who talk the most, they don't got much going on. Because if you're a profitable trader and you're doing well for yourself, the last thing you're going to be doing is in somebody's comments just talking crazy. Like, you're going to be living your life. You're not worried about what I'm doing. So they're pretty much telling themselves or telling on themselves, and they're telling everybody how their trading's going whenever they hate publicly. And some of the hate comments in the some of the hate comments on my Twitter are from people in the Discord. It's pretty crazy. It's all fun, though. I have a neutral bias on NQ right now. We're in between two 15-minute inefficiencies. I'll take this off for a second. So, small little fair value gap here on NASDAQ. And obviously, this larger fair value gap, this SIBI. Waking up, clearing the buy side, technically, yes. Me, personally, I like to see something more meaningful than that, but, I mean, technically speaking, we did run the buy side, but I would have preferred to see a more meaningful stab above it. 5-minute chart. 1-minute chart. We have about 12 minutes till the opening range, and your 940, let me make sure that's right. Your 943 candle is your first presented fair value gap. Include the volume imbalance. Bruh. Let's see. And I'm gonna do a quick look at S&P. Yeah, small SMT. So ES cannot take out, let me make sure. So ES cannot take out its buy side. The Dow is 759. So Dow cannot take out its buy side. And then you have NASDAQ. You get a shallow run above the highs. So you have SMT with the other averages. Me personally, I would have liked something more above that, but looking at ES and the Dow and the SMT, that's fine. Out of 4 months I've been here in the morning taperings, you never once answered my questions. What's your question, bro? What's your question? I don't look at the chat 24/7. What's your question? We're back inside the new week opening gap. I like visually seeing the opening range. It's the first 30 minutes. So this is the reason why I clear off everything once we get to 9:30. We're looking for lower prices once we're down here, but as we approach 9:30, a Judas swing can happen. The narrative in the market kind of shifts after the opening bell. We run out the buy side and then continue lower. Rarely, it can happen on really, really trending days, but rarely would you expect lower prices and they get to the opening bell and it just continues with that idea. You get a move higher, clearing the buy stops, and now we're back to the new week opening gap. But all of this here is the reason why I don't trade the first 30 minutes. Again, I just use it for insight because I don't want to get chopped up in this. I don't want to get caught up in it, but I will observe it. So right now, again, like I said, I like using it for insight. Well, we've cleared out the buy side. In the back of my mind, I'm still treating this as a suspect in a way because it's still relatively equal and we're beneath our opening prices. So for the day, I'm not convinced that our job is done here. It's just a little too smooth for my liking. That's just me. And we're forming relative equal lows here. But I still have my eyes up here. I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. Let's take this off now. Let me go back to the dollar. Yeah. Not doing too much. NASDAQ, Dow has already taken out that low, or S&P, sorry. NASDAQ has not. And the Dow trading well beneath that swing low. About 6 minutes or so till 10 o'clock. And then again, we do have medium impact news at 10 o'clock. I'm not expecting much with that, but if it brings a little bit of volatility, then that'll be nice. And that's our last news driver for the day. So far, there's SMT at the lows, but waiting until 10 o'clock. The bias is impossible today. We're likely to chop all week. Yeah, I'm probably going to be using lower leverage. Even though this is my last trading week, if I don't see anything clean, I'm fine with not taking any trades this week. But I do plan on making a little bit of moolah to end the year. But if we get price action that's just like, it's obvious, like the end of the year is like trading is slowing down, going into Christmas, going into New Year's, if it's clear in the chart that it's just not willing to move cleanly, then I'll just be like, okay, we'll just end it here, and I'll wrap up the year. And again, we don't really have any high impact news drivers until Thursday, was it? So it's not like we have a CPI or a PPI or anything like that that can really shake up the market. It's just a bunch of medium impact news drivers. And then the day before Christmas, which is Christmas Eve, that could be a little lethargic. The day after Christmas, the day after bank holidays period can be a little wonky. So I'm not expecting much this week. If I could pull out one good trade, then I'll probably call it a year. So tomorrow, I'm looking for one solid win, and then I'll likely be done. How did you start your trading career? Just found interest in it. But this has been a more of a difficult opening range, a little more spotty, a lot of wicks, candles overlapping each other. Back live trading probably Tuesday, January 7th. I don't know if I'm going to trade that Monday or Tuesday, but right now I'm back live trading. I'm trading this week and then taking next week off, and I'm coming back Tuesday, January 7th. So January 7th will be the next time I press buttons after this week. Would it be stupid to trade Asia? I mean, if your model's there, I think trade frequency in general should drop this week. I was really debating. I was sending out the weekly schedule, and I was like, am I trading this week? Do I only want to trade one day this week? I was even contemplating like trading today, trading Monday, just so I could be done early for the week. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to say I'm live trading this week, and if I find something early, then I'll be done. Or if I don't see anything clean, then I just won't take any trades this week. But that's the plan. But you have to understand, like, we're in the holidays, big investors, deep pockets, large funds, they're probably already out on vacation, like with their families, friends. Nobody's trading Christmas Eve. You know, the day after Christmas, people are spending time with their families. So you're in here trying to take 5-6 trades a day, you know, the day right after Christmas. People are still winding down. Like, you have to wait for the markets to get back in the groove. So it's like, you know, recommend watching ICT videos if you aren't a brand new trader. I'll just go with all the mentorship playlists, whichever one, 2022, 2023. I think the 2024, like if you just want something to learn right away, I'll just go with the ICT 2024 playlist. Just because, like, even like I'm not brand new, obviously, and I still find value in that playlist. Just seeing like an experienced trader like ICT who has, you know, a bunch of knowledge, even if you already know half the stuff he's going to talk about. There's your 10 o'clock news driver, by the way. Just seeing him like point things out, walk you through it, regardless if you know it or not. The 2024 playlist is good stuff. So we have a small little buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. That's a pretty volatile medium impact news driver. A lot of whiplash there. But we're trading in between our first presented fair value gap and this fair value gap here. For me, on a day like this, it's too much guesswork. It's not worth putting a trade on. I'm sure people are trying to go long here, trying to go short in the first presented. It's too much like shoulda, coulda. It's not for me. Like, I can easily see why NASDAQ would want to go lower, and I could see why NASDAQ would want to go higher. So buy side, relative equal highs, and then if we zoom out, we have relative equal highs up here. And again, we talked about this shallow run above the buy side, in my opinion, being too shallow. So I can see NASDAQ running out the buy side, getting back above the midnight open. But at the same time, I can also see NASDAQ clearing out the relative equal lows here. So whenever I'm trading and I say I can justify both sides of the market, it's not a market that I should be engaging in. When I get in trades, I want to be, okay, NASDAQ should go for this level. Right now in the chart, I don't see any reason why NASDAQ should go lower. I don't see any reason why NQ should do this. I'm solely fixed on this direction. But right now, I don't see that. For me, it's giving more 50-50, roll the dice and hope for the best kind of vibe. Requirements that you go by if you were to short below. We talked about in the webinar yesterday. If I were to short beneath the midnight open, I just use half risk. Same thing for longs. Preferably, I like to buy beneath the midnight open. So like a fair value gap here, I'm not saying this is a buy, it's just visually speaking. But I wouldn't be interested in shorting anything here. Preferably, I'll look for longs targeting the midnight opening price and anything above it. But if I did want to take a short going away from the midnight open, then I just use half risk. So normally I trade 10 micros or one mini contract. If I'm taking a short anywhere beneath the 8:30 open and the midnight open, then I'll just have to use 5 micros instead of 10. So I'm still giving myself permission to do that. This is nasty, y'all, I'm not gonna lie. What stream was that? Full access members, I think that was Friday where we talked about the opening range. Oh no, that was a PM session stream that we had on Friday. But unwilling to leave the opening range as of right now. So 9:30 to 10 o'clock, your high is high and your low is low. If NASDAQ just bounces around in that for too long, then that's a low probability condition. So there's your lowest low. And there's your highest high. So this is your opening range. If we show an unwillingness to leave this range and we kind of just hang around, then that's definitely a market that I wouldn't be interested in trading. But if we can leave the opening range and then continue to expand away from it, that's preferred. Same thing for lower prices. If we trade beneath it, use the new wick opening gap as resistance, continue lower, leaving the opening range, that's ideal. But just bouncing around in between here for too long is not something you want to see. So while I don't have these lines on my chart, it's something that I'm keeping in the back of my mind. About your system 25, what did you improve for the 2024? My 2025 model is the same way I've been trading. A lot of people are just asking, like, what's your model, what's your entry rules and whatnot. So my model that I shared on Twitter is the same thing I've been using. I just put it like in text form, I guess, so everybody knows the rules. and they're specific and they're time based. But price action normally get better in January. Price can still be asleep in January because after Christmas, after New Year's, big funds, big investors, they're not jumping right back in and putting on large size. Like, you have to let the markets kind of warm up. You have a lot of people come in here right on January 1st pushing buttons. Like, relax. You have a whole year to trade and press buttons and patch your combine and whatnot. You don't need to be in here January 1st and using maximum leverage and trying to, like, you have to relax. So January, I'm expecting movement, but I'm not expecting it to be as clean. I'm not expecting it to be as volatile. And then obviously that could change with geopolitical stuff, but for right now, I'm expecting February. That's when I'm expecting normal market conditions. Low resistance, liquidity runs, things of that sort. Met your daily goal. That's what's up. Nice. Back down to the new week opening gap. My Twitter handle, or the link to my Twitter, I just sent it in the chat room. We're really working this new week opening gap. I wouldn't press buttons in this. Not yet, at least. It's too many wicks, candles overlapping. There's no fair value gap staying open. Every single fair value gap. And we really only have like 2 of them, 2 or 3. All the fair value gaps getting overlapped. There's no upper half or lower half being respected. We're wicking all over the place. Retracements. It's having to trade something like this is too much babysitting a stop loss. I may get stopped out at break even or stopped out for a loss, then have to re-enter. It's too much. All right, we're at midpoint, the event horizon. We talked about that pre-market for those who tuned in. There's not really that much range between the two, but normally between midpoint of 2 new week opening gaps, you'll find a setup. So if we were to form a fair value gap here and we don't trade to a new week opening gap, I'll be expecting this fair value gap to be used as resistance. But again, there's not a lot of range here, so we could easily just do what we're doing now and just trade there. But that's your midpoint. And I think we just tagged that sell side right there. That low. Oops. S&P heavy, Dow heavy. Dow looks the cleanest out of the three, in my opinion. Dollar index. A little consolidation, but looks like it does want to reach for that small little remaining imbalance. We're running out all the buy stops above these highs. And my laptop is so loud. This thing's probably overheating. I need to get a new one. We have another new day opening gap. It's pretty much laying on top of the one you're already seeing. So they're nested. If we were to get beneath the cluster of new week opening gaps here, that I'm seeing as we're really heavy. Really heavy. And then all of this here would be a low resistance liquidity run. It's pretty much one directional. But we have a nesting of new day opening gaps, new week opening gaps, and we're just taking out buy side. And we just traded into this fair value gap here. So we'd have to get beneath that for me to be convinced we're going lower. I like where we're at. I like this price. So for me in my model, like if this was a Discord stream and I was looking to take a trade, I would only be interested in longs. And if I were to take something going short, I would have to cut my risk in half, simply given the fact that, all right, we cleared out the buy side. We could take that off. I'm still seeing these as relatively equal. Again, I don't think our job is done up here. It's a little too suspect in my opinion, but we're beneath the midnight, beneath the 8:30. Okay, if this was a live trading stream, I'm looking for opportunities to go long. Taking partials above the highs, definitely above these highs that I'm still seeing as relatively equal. And then leaving a runner to the midnight open and possibly the buy side. But I would not, okay, if this is a live trading stream, I would not be looking for anything going short. If it's real obvious, if the short setup is there, I don't mind taking it, but I'm cutting my risk in half because I'm trading away from the midnight open and we're already at a deep, deep discount. We've already taken out relative equal lows. We've taken out sell side. We're trading into a cluster of new week, new day opening gap. So any shorts for me would just have to be lower risk, but I'm still giving myself permission to trade that. All right, so we have a small fair value gap here. Using that as insight, do we leave it open? Do we leave the lower half open? Do we trade to it at all? Do we just completely blast through it and make a new lower low? I'm watching to see how we treat this fair value gap. If we leave it open and start running away, to me that's possible strength. If we leave the lower half of this fair value gap open, that's showing me strength. So I'm watching to see how we respond to this here. So far, I like what we're getting. Watch and see if we get above this new week opening gap. Should we get above this gap with the closure, I'll be watching to see if we can use that support. I like how, as of right now, we left this fair value gap open. If we keep it that way and work higher, then I'm convinced we'll make a run for the buy side. But again, my focus is this inefficiency. Trading inside a 5-minute fair value gap. So far, we haven't gotten above that new week opening gap. Or is it a new day opening gap? It's a new day, or no, new week opening gap. $706 views, no chat. We're locked in on price. And nobody has bots over here, my guy. From Dubai, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we got a lot of bots in the stream. We didn't get what I wanted to see, preferably, which was a closure above the new week opening gap. Use that support. And again, I'm still watching this here. If we completely overlap it, that imbalance, then that's showing me NASDAQ isn't as strong. But if we leave the lower half open or the entire fair value gap open, to me that's bullish. So I'm using this first fair value gap as insight. So far, it's staying open. Music overseer, be quiet and watch the chart. You're messing up the silence. I'm also watching this long wick on the 15-minute chart. Let's do this. And we're staying so far in the upper half of it. Again, wicks or gaps, that's a normal inefficiency. So I'm taking midpoint and I'm watching to see on my separate screen on my monitor, I'm watching to see if we stay in the upper half of that. So the same way that I'm treating this fair value gap here, do we leave it open or do we stay in the upper half? I'm watching this wick on the 15-minute chart. I've been trading for, I think it's been 5 years now. I think I just crossed 5 years not too long ago. All right, Music Overseer obviously didn't eat his Fruit Loops this morning. We got to get him out of here. He needs some Cheerios, maybe some healthy, hearty oats. But it's always the ones who skip breakfast that come in the chat room with the little attitude. Maybe a Snickers, you know. But let's go ahead and get him out of here. We're trying to focus on price. We don't need that right now. Only 10-minute timeout. That's enough to pour you a bowl of cereal, then come back when you're not hungry. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Back to the chart. So far, leaving this inefficiency open, I'm really watching to see if we can get above the new week opening gap, use it as support. If we completely overlap this fair value gap, then it's likely NASDAQ just continue lower. But so far, I like what we're getting, even though it's a little slow. Oh, that might have been Scott. He just came back with a different username. That was probably Scott, not gonna lie to you. I'm going to take this new week or this one off. It's just a little too messy. This is a little bit more cleaner. That's what I wanted to see right there. Now I want to see, do we close above it? Next candle open, trade down, use it as support to take us higher. Or if NASDAQ just wants to continue to run, all the better. All right, so closure above it. Now I'm watching to see, do we use the new week opening gap as support? Do you have an open position? I don't trade Mondays. But if I was trading today, I wouldn't be in a trade yet. Like if this was the private Discord stream, I would still be waiting for my setup. Trading back down to that SIBI. In my opinion, this isn't the cleanest. I've seen cleaner sessions, but it's not even 10:30 yet. I prefer to see NASDAQ start to gravitate higher, but it's still too much. It's too much guesswork. But I want to see if we can reach the relative equal highs. And while NASDAQ does whatever it does, let's take a quick glance. S&P, Dow, dollar. Did it reach that? Not yet. but dollar still looks strong. Let's go here. But this is, as of right now, if I was looking to press the button, I would still be sidelined, waiting for something specific, but I don't see anything that I would engage in right now. We just traded into that imbalance, it looks like. Again, I'm just using this for insight. Just this. So I'm highlighting this fair value gap in gray because I'm just observing it. I want to see if we stay in the upper half. Again, if we're bullish, preferably you don't want to see us work the lower half of the fair value gap. So it's just something that I'm watching. I'm looking at the 5-minute chart. The doji candles are not really that attractive. Like I said, as of right now, it's too much guesswork. But gun in my head, if I had to pick a direction, I would favor higher prices simply given the fact that we're at a discount. But if I don't see anything that I like to engage in that, then it's just not for me. So far, we're still, again, I'm peeping at my monitor. I do like, change this. I do like, again, how we're staying in the upper half of this wick. So far, I haven't reached consequent encroachment. But as far as anything reliable, I mean, it's, you know, I don't know about y'all, but this isn't something that I'm willing to engage in, not with live funds at least. But I do like the insight I'm getting as far as leaving majority of this fair value gap open. If we can keep it that way and start to work higher, then I'll be confident in the buy side. But like I said, if we overlap this, then that's NASDAQ telling me that it's not as bullish as I prefer to see it. But right now we're just ranging, but it's 10:30, so you can start to expect to see movement once 10:30 hits. It's been an hour since the open. So for those already in the Discord, obviously I'm live trading tomorrow. If this is the price action that we're getting, then either I'm not going to trade or I'm just going to switch to a paper trading account. My last trading week was supposed to be December 13th, but we're getting really clean price action, so I extended it another week or so. But if it starts finally slowing down as we head into the holidays, then I'll just mark up my last trading week as my last week. And it was a good week. We didn't take any losses last week. Couple break evens, had a win, and then off camera, the final hour macro delivered nicely a couple times last week. It was a great week. But so far it's looking like NASDAQ already took a Christmas break. I think NQ is already on vacation, chilling with Santa right now. Got the first K trade. That was a big milestone. Definitely wanted to hit my first $1,000 trade before the year ended. So I'm glad I got that out the way, because this week has the potential to be a little lethargic. We really don't have any high impact news driver except for Thursday. So that was a nice milestone. This is getting nasty in here, but again, gun in my head, I favor us getting back above the midnight open. And we talked about the buy side here. It's just too smooth. Yes, we've taken out the buy stops, but it's too shallow. So in my opinion, we still have traders who are profiting going short, who didn't get stopped out. It's too shallow of a run. And as far as me and my model, I wouldn't be looking for shorts today. I would only favor longs. Again, if you don't know what my model is, if you haven't followed me on Twitter or whatnot, I don't know if I'm going to make a video about it, because the tweet is pretty self-explanatory. It's not rocket science. It's just based on time and price. But that tweet, as far as my model goes, I'm not looking for anything going short. I would only favor something going higher. If there's something that jumps off the charts that says this is a shorting opportunity, I don't mind taking it. I'll just scale back on my risk. But, I mean, like I said, I've seen cleaner mornings. If we're still consolidating by 11 o'clock, we'll just wrap it. I plan on staying here till 12, but if NASDAQ consolidates for the next 30 minutes, then we're just going to go ahead and get off. But I'm giving NASDAQ plenty of time to do something, so. But 11 o'clock, if we're still in between these two new week opening gaps, we'll just call it a day. Oh yeah, I definitely would have hit 1K a while ago if I didn't take partials, because like for those who've been in the streams for a while, you know, like I used to trade just one contract, and it would just be like, I just started taking partials maybe the past month and a half or so. Like I just started trading 10 micros, but I used to just trade one mini and just like get in, get out, one pool. But the partials, obviously they reduce your overall P&L, but you're pocketing more like along the way. So if your trade doesn't hit your terminus, you still banked something. So, but regardless, it was still pretty cool. I withdrew them profits so quick, boy. I took a screenshot. I texted my mom. I was like, I finally got it. I finally got my first 1K trade. I'm not glad. We might wrap this up earlier, man. I got some Christmas shopping to do. I might go swing by my girl's job, bring her some Starbucks. I gotta go take the vet, get it detailed. We might wrap this up early. It's Christmas week, and I'm really not trying to be tied to the charts this entire week. I really want to focus on spending times with friends, family, getting my gifts and all that together for them. I don't care if NASDAQ moves 300 handles as soon as I get off stream. It really doesn't make me any different, but it's been consolidating since 10:13 for about 20 minutes. Yeah, this is not something that I would trade anyway. We're gonna call it here. Join the Discord if you're not in there already. The link is pinned in the top of the chat room. It's also the first link in the top of this description. If you're trading this, if you're pressing buttons, just be careful. Again, it's Christmas week. Don't expect anything too crazy when we have the holidays in just a couple of days. So in my opinion, big funds, deep pockets, large institutions, they're already winding down. I can't see them putting on big size a couple of days before Christmas. So just be careful. If you made money, cash out. Don't still be in here pressing anything. That's just my advice. I've seen cleaner days. So for those already in the Discord, we're back live trading privately tomorrow at 9:30. If we're getting price action like this, then it'll just be a tape reading stream, or maybe I'll just switch to a demo account, but I'm not about to risk my live funds in something like this. So just keep that in mind for tomorrow. Everybody else, YouTube community, love y'all, man. This is the last tape reading stream of the year, possibly the last tape reading stream on the channel. I may do one to open the year in 2025 just to chat it up with y'all, but it's been fun. It's been a great year. Have a Merry Christmas for those who celebrate. Be safe, have fun, enjoy time with your friends and your families. Tell them you love them, kiss them, give them a warm hug, and I wish you all the best. I wish you all success in 2025. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It's been a great year, an amazing year. Extremely grateful for all of you. Love you all sincerely, and we'll talk soon in 2025. Love y'all. Be safe. Peace.